Rachel with Powerhouse Theatre. I'm the resident choreographer, but today we're going to be talking about dialects. In this video, we're going to cover the musicality, characteristics, and vocal mannerisms of a Brooklyn accent. All dialects and accents have characteristic acoustic patterning and tonal qualities. Often, a successful imitation depends as much on capturing the intonation, rhythm, and tone of a dialect as on capturing the phonemic features. There are four key elements to establishing the musicality of the Brooklyn accent, and that is tone, rhythm, stress, and intonation or pitch pattern. Let's first talk about tone. There are four tonal elements: pitch, tempo, force, and quality. The pitch should extend over the 3 to 4 note spread of usual conversational average. It should be of medium to fast tempo, almost never slow unless used for dramatic purposes. It is also forceful and powerful in its delivery, and of poor quality. Well, that means little concern for formality. Next, let's talk about rhythm. The Brooklyn accent has a very urban sound and a tendency toward vocal verbosity or compulsive talkativeness, as if an individual just likes to hear oneself talk, and it's almost childlike in its insistence to be heard. So it's really okay to make use of this little idiosyncrasy. Next, we'll talk about stress. Slurring is a consistent characteristic of Brooklynese, balanced by a considerable variety of stop and go, with the stress often on accented syllables. There is little concern for enunciation or exactness, and precision of speech almost goes away completely. They're often dropped or elided syllables, which is a major characteristic in which syllables are eliminated and words are shortened to the barest essentials of sound. For instance, and becomes an, him to because to cause, happen to happen, and something to sumpum. The usual American mispronunciations exist in the Brooklyn accent to the same extent they do elsewhere, and can be found in words like "tuh" for to, or "ya" and "use" for you, and many more. Again, unconcern and lack of precision are manifest in the practice of dropping "buh" and "duh" when either is in a middle position in a multi-syllable word. Probably is pronounced probably, and fundamental is pronounced fundamental. Next, we're going to talk about intonation. The Brooklyn accent has an argumentative tone or whine. It's not disrespectful, but one of self-certainty and self-sufficiency, in which an individual must strive for space and livelihood under competitive circumstances. Individuals often speak with authority, using emphasis with volume and less with pitch tone. There's also the trumpet effect, the desire to make space with your words, sound moving out and marking territory. The individual wants to own the space and uses the language to reflect an allocation of space. And lastly, there's a tendency toward nasality as a possibility, not an admonition, but particularly useful for women. A perfect example of this is Marissa Tomei's performance in My Cousin Vinny, of which I'll give you a brief demonstration. It is a trick question, because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out until 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carburetor till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center. In that monologue, you heard nasality as well as the argumentative tone or whine that we talked about earlier. Thanks for watching today's video. I'm Rachel with Powerhouse Theatre. We'll see you next time.